Hey guys, so here's the second part of my last video, and this one is a TBR of books that have been on my radar before Charlottesville, as well as books that I learned about after the fact while I was browsing Twitter or reading think pieces about it. So I hope you enjoy this video, and away we go with the same outfit I was wearing in my last video. The first one is called White Rage by Carol Anderson, and it's already on hold at the library and it should be coming soon. It's in transit. This book argues that every time that African Americans have ever made progress politically and economically, they have been met with backlash by infuriated white Americans. Just looking at the different ways that that has occurred using examples. The next book is one that I've been telling you I'm going to read and I still haven't done it yet. There was actually a Kindle sale for it that Rinsey at Rinsey Reads mentioned on her Twitter and I got it. It was only $2.99 and it was for Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi, who used to be a professor at my alma mater, UF. I saw him speak too and I have a video on that as well. I'm glad that this book is a thing. I've had troubles getting through this book, mostly because it is so long and so dense. But now that I have it on a Kindle deal, I don't have to worry about the fact that I have to return it to the library after 3 weeks, which I think was my main problem, is I could not finish that 592-page book in 3 weeks when it's so dense like that. But I will try to get to it by the end of the year. The next book is called Romantic Violence, and it's by Christian Picciolini. This is a memoir from a former neo-Nazi skinhead who was recruited at the age of 14 to become part of this group, and he rose to prominence in the group and actually became a leader in it. And being involved in all of this, you know, hate propaganda, starting a band that was like a white supremacist band, and then kind of him realizing that his beliefs were wrong and him reinventing himself, starting a nonprofit called Life After Hate, who helps people in hate groups disengage from those groups. I heard about this on Twitter after Charlottesville from a journalist who had been either looking into white nationalist or militia groups, and that Christian Picciolini to her is a friend now. So I'm interested to read this to kind of just see the mindset and how he got involved with this group, why originally, and then how he left it, how he realized that that was not what he wanted to espouse. The next book is called Nobody. It's by Marc Lamont Hill. It focuses on the plight of the vulnerable. This obviously mentions the deaths at the hands of police of many Black Americans in the past 4 or 5 years specifically, but also on the negligence of the government on issues like Flint and their water crisis. And he is mostly going to examine the effects of capitalism without any checks, mass incarceration, and political power. The next book is Men We Reaped by Jesmyn Ward. It's about Ward really questioning why 5 young men that were close to her all died within 5 years by different things, be it, you know, suicide, accidents, drugs, and her coming to terms and understanding that it's all because of who these men were and what communities they came from, and that they existed in a world that has a history of racism and economic struggle. The next book is called Citizen, and it's by Claudia Rankine. It uses poetry, images, and essays to look into the individual and collective effects of racism, and she's really saying that all of these stresses that they feel, whether they be slight or very major, hurt one's ability to speak, perform, and to live, you know, affecting your citizenship. Can you be a citizen in this country? The next book is We Were 8 Years in Power by Ta-Nehisi. This looks into the echoes of the post-Reconstruction era and today, now that President Obama has left office and now we have Donald Trump. That contrast between this Reconstruction era where there was a multiracial democracy and there were Black politicians involved, and the end of that and the bringing back of, you know, this inequality through segregation and Jim Crow. It has some of his essays from The Atlantic that I've read before, like The Black Family in the Age of Mass Incarceration, but it also has new essays of his. After reading Between the World and Me, I'm excited to read the next book of his. I got this from NetGalley too, so I can read it soon and I'm excited about it. I think it officially comes out in October. And last but not least, I want to read I Cant Breathe by Matt Taibbi. Its main focus is the death of Eric Garner in New York, talking about that day and everything that happened that day, as well as the protests that occurred as a result, the deaths of 2 police officers that were committed in revenge by a man who traveled from Maryland to New York City. This problem between police and protesters, with Bill de Blasio in the middle of that, and what occurred with the grand jury, the media stories, and more. I also got this one as well as a Ta-Nehisi Coates book from NetGalley, so hopefully I can get to this one soon. I read the first few pages and I think that it's going to be a really engaging read. It's going to give me more background into Eric Garner's case specifically. That is it. I've just been writing them down all over the place of things that have helped me and things that I hope will help me as I continue to become more informed and educated on these issues. And now that I don't have college, I gotta make my own college. I probably will do something like this again as I continue to read more into these nonfiction works. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you're interested in any of these. I think it would be great talking to you in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.